ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, welcome, and thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Pammy G, coming to you live on Pammy G Motivations page. I'm just gonna wait for my guests to switch on their videos. Mr. Dayile and Lebogang. There we go. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Please, can you share, can you tag your friends? This is very important. This is a topic that affects us all in the world, everybody, directly or indirectly. We are talking about, we are remembering World AIDS Day today. We all know that World AIDS Day is on the 1st of December. But since we know we are almost at the end of November, we decided to raise awareness and invite these lovely guests to come and educate us about the awareness of HIV and AIDS. Today we have Mr. Vuyisa Dayile, who is the head of the Eastern Cape AIDS Council Secretariat. He will be talking to us, he'll be educating us a little bit today about what their organization does in trying to curb the virus. And then we have Lebogang Motsumi, and she's the HIV activist. She will tell us her journey. We're so grateful to have these two guests today. Thank you so much. Mr. Dayile, I think, can I start with you? Or perhaps, Lebogang, how much time do you have? Lebogang is currently in hospital, but she decided to honor this day. We're so grateful for that, Lebogang. I mean, this is you're already proving what strength you've got. You just, we would say in Xhosa, you're showing immense strength for being in hospital and being able to, to honor this day. I mean, I don't know. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I think maybe I should start with you just in case the doctors come, and approach you. Maybe I should start with you. Let me
You can start with the other guest because I'm currently getting needled right now.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay, not a problem. I'll start with Mr. Dayile. Mr. Dayile, just give me a second. I just need to just go on the page. I just need to share this feed quickly. Right, I'm almost there. There we go, done. I'm done sharing. Guys, please greet us. We want to acknowledge you. We want to acknowledge you today. So you're welcome to greet us, and we're gonna engage with you guys as well today. So you are welcome to say hi. Lindelwa, we see you. Lindelwa Geisman, we see you. Hi, thank you. Welcome. Yeah, we just need to get a few more people to join us. Just 2 seconds. Greet, guys. I can see you watching. So greet us, and yeah, we want to acknowledge you. Say hi. Okay, I don't see Musa today. I'm gonna tag Musa. I don't see her today. I'm sure she's busy.
Hello. No.
Hi, Linda Mzilikazi. Hi, we see you. We acknowledge you. Thank you for watching. Hi, Vuvumko. We acknowledge you. Thank you for watching. Hi, Mandisa. Tandwa Inkosi Tukashe. We see you. Well done. Thank you, guys. I think we're ready to start. We'll start with you guys. Anybody else who's not watching now will have to watch this a bit later. Yeah. Mr. Dayile, let me start with you, sir. I know that some people don't know or are not aware of what the AIDS, the Eastern Cape AIDS Council does. So can you please share with us your guys' mandate or the overview of your organization and the role in the organization, your role in the organization?
Thank you very much, Pemiji. First
Yes,
of all, I just want to thank you for inviting us on this very, very important day for us to really commemorate the World AIDS Day. And I just want to also appreciate that Lebogang is taking this time to be with us in the midst of her being in hospital. I just want to thank her. It's really, really, as we said, shows that she's really committed. Well, the Eastern Cape AIDS Council is a body which was founded in the year 2000. It's a provincial chapter of the South African National AIDS Council. Basically, we were founded under the UNAIDS mandate, which was focusing on 3 ones. The 3 ones, the first one is one coordination body. The second one is one multi-sector plan. And the third one is one monitoring mechanism. So what the UNAIDS said was they looked at countries that had been successful in responding to HIV, because as you know that HIV started around around the late 1970s, but it came later on in South Africa. So the mandate of the Eastern Cape AIDS Council is 4-pronged. The first one is to advise government on policy-related issues with regards to HIV. 2 is to mobilize all sectors of society to participate in the HIV response. Our motto when we started was saying, make HIV everybody's business. Because as you know, if you're not infected, you are affected. Thirdly, we are monitoring the HIV response in the Eastern Cape province, because as you know, many people are role players in the HIV space. But in order for us to know what is the path and what is our effectiveness, we've got to continue to monitor our plans, and we've got to continue to evaluate so that we can be able to correct and adjust accordingly as we go forward. Then lastly, it is resources mobilization. This is a huge task. It requires more than government resources. It requires the international community to support us. It requires civil society to support us. So it requires huge resources. So one of our roles is to make sure that we mobilize all resources so that we can be able to close the gaps. You would know that 80% of the HIV response in the country is funded by government, but there's that 20% that still is a gap. So in terms of our day-to-day activities, we're focusing on 3 things. One, we call it strategic information, where we're able to provide information to our partners, to our stakeholders, to local government, to government departments, and so on. Based on that, the second thing that we do is what we call program design. So what are the programs that are responding to what we've identified, either in research or monitoring and evaluation? And then thirdly, we're focusing on creation of demand, particularly through mobilization, through communication, through a number of efforts that we make, including activations and so on. So that if government is, for instance, providing condoms, we don't want those condoms to sit there and collect dust. They must be used. If government is providing ARVs, they must be used. So part of what we do is demand creation. Then lastly, it is around the issues of governance, particularly making sure that within the context of the AIDS Council, you have government, you have private sector, and you have civil society. All of them must be there to make sure that there is an agreement in what we call the social compact, because an AIDS Council is a social compact where stakeholders agree this is the path that as the province or as the country we're taking in responding to this huge epidemic. So basically, that's what we do. My role, even though I normally call myself a chief volunteer, but my role is to make sure that I coordinate all of those efforts, particularly for us to advise government and to advise the council in terms of what it needs to do. Yes, that's what we do basically.
Okay, okay. And how difficult is it, Mr. Dayile, presently to get the message of awareness in the public in the midst of this COVID-19? Are you having any challenges?
Yes, in fact, we've had a mixed bag of fortune since this year. One, we could not employ the strategies that we normally use, for instance, door-to-door, tax activations, going physical to have huge Tumamina campaigns and so on. It's been really difficult in that front. But that has opened a lot of opportunities for us, including using social media, using community radio stations, using print media, many avenues that we didn't adequately explore previously. So we have found that this year we've reached actually more people because of the urgency of COVID with lesser resources than we did previously. So really it's been a mixed bag, yes.
I hear you, sir. Yeah, I'm sure all these resources are working better.
Yes.
Okay, and do you feel that people are receiving your message?
Well, as I said, the message is not really our message because we're under a collective. But when we speak on radio and Mhlobonene and other community radio stations, the feedback that we're getting from the public is amazing. Everyone is saying, by now, we know what is HIV, we know how to prevent ourselves, and we know what to do. And amazingly, everyone is applauding what the government has done so far in making sure that there's testing, in making sure that there's treatment, and so on. We know that we still have a huge role and a big journey to still go with that and cover, because we want to reach each and every citizen in the Eastern Cape province. We know, particularly in young ages, the recent HSRC report has shown that there are declining levels of knowledge and education, particularly among young people. So we need to make sure that we refocus, because many people who have heard the message previously have now grown older. So we need to go back to schools and go back to basics in terms of reaching those younger ones.
Okay. What do you think is the cause of that?
You know, we normally talk of what we call HIV fatigue. I mean, we're commemorating the World AIDS Day today. It's a journey that is started in 1988. And as the country and the province, we started to commemorate the World AIDS Day in 1996. So you will imagine that people have been hearing this message over and over again. And for the donors and for the public, really people are fatigued. But we are saying this is not the time for us to lower the guards now, because we see signs that we are going really to achieve what we want to achieve in terms of our vision. But also, we've had previously billboards, adverts in radio, adverts in television, and so on. All of those have since declined. They have declined because resources have also declined. So we want to make sure now that we reintroduce those efforts again, to speak to our partners, to speak to government, to have billboards, to go on television, to go to school, so that we reintroduce those messages again. We understand that people are tired, but we want to urge everyone just to continue and be patient. We're going to reach our destination soon.
Okay. Let me just ask maybe two more questions. What is the prevalence of HIV and AIDS in the Eastern Cape at the moment?
At the moment, if you look at general population, we are at 14%. If we use NAC survey or sorry, ANC survey or pregnant women, we are at 32%.
That's not bad. Okay. Another question which I'm very interested in is there any progress in finding the cure?
Yeah, that one is quite interesting. Unfortunately, we're not doing very well in that front. Where there are good signs at the moment is on the side of vaccine. We attended the World Conference in 2018 in Amsterdam. There were many studies that were showing that we're a few years in getting a vaccine so that many people can be able to prevent HIV and not get it. So we know that in the conference that is going to come in 2 years, we will start to get the actual results. So we're really hoping that we'll get a vaccine. So the main focus really has been on the prevention side. We have not made much inroads on the curative side as we have made on the prevention side.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Dayile. Thank you so much. I will ask you one last question, but I think I need to involve Lebogang. Lebogang, how much time do you have?
I don't know. As soon as I start feeling pain, you'll see my face. But for now, we can talk.
Thank you, Lebogang. Lebogang, I just want to introduce her a little bit. I've got a little bit of her profile. It's very short. She's an author, and I'd like to know more about that book, by the way. She's an author, she's an inspirational speaker, she's an entrepreneur, she's a CEO of LM Inspirations, and she's an HIV activist, as I've already mentioned. She advocates for those people living with HIV. Lebogang, I'd love for you, darling, to just share your journey with us a little bit briefly, because I know you're in pain, shame, and yeah. We're so grateful that you...
And I can go on and on and on. Good evening, Pam, and to the viewers. So, like you said, I'm an author and everything else that you have said. And again, it's an honor for you guys to have me tonight. And my journey started when I was 17. That's when I was exposed to the HIV virus. And I eventually then tested in 2009. I think I was 20. And that's when my results then came back positive. And during that time, I was very in denial, because of the fact that I grew up in the suburbs. I went to a white school, whatever the case is. I always felt that HIV was for a certain population, which is what we were being told, or we were being taught on television, how the message was being relayed to us back then. It was for a certain life status of people from the rural areas, so what, uneducated, all those silly things that they used to show us on television. So I was in a lot of denialism. I started treatment because I was pregnant at the time. So I had to start treatment because nobody wants to die, Pam, You are told, if you don't take treatment, you're going to die. And that was my biggest motivation to take treatment. I didn't take treatment because are you pricking? Okay, they are pricking. Oh, I didn't take treatment because I had accepted my status. I didn't take treatment because I understood what HIV was, nor did I understand what the medication in itself is and what it entails and what it means to have to be on ARTs for a lifetime. My journey has been a rocky one. At some point, I had full-blown AIDS. I was in hospital for 6 months. I had abdominal TB, I had pneumonia. A lot of things just were not looking okay, But I went back on treatment, and slowly but surely, I started getting better.
Wow. And what I'd like to know is how important is it to disclose to family?
Disclosure to family is very important and simply for support purposes, you know. But we're not the same as people, Bam. There's a Lebogang out there who feels, I know my HIV status, but I don't need anyone's support. I can do this on my own, which is okay. You know, there are people who've been living with HIV and nobody knows their status, but they're doing well. They're adhering to medication. They are psychologically okay. They are socially fitting in, and they are okay. But I always then encourage people to disclose to family for support purposes. One is able to remind you when and what time to take your medication. One is able to remind you that you need to collect your medication. One is able just to support you emotionally, because living with HIV doesn't have a manual. You feel different every morning and every day. And sometimes you just need that shoulder to cry on, to be on some, okay, today you feel somehow. Can we just talk about this? But again, I just want to emphasize that disclosure is not a have to. It's a have to, or it's advisable if you feel that you need the extra support and you can't do it by yourself.
And how did your family receive you? I know that you've mentioned support, etc., etc. But when you first told them, how did they respond?
When I first told my mom, the same day that I tested, she because of the fact that she knew about the ex-partner who passed away from the virus, I think for her it was the sense of she was kind of waiting for me to tell her the news, not that she had already not that she had already kind of what is the word? Not already that she knew that I was positive, but for her it wasn't a big shock, you know. But I remember the words she said to me was, "You'll be okay. There's medication. You will live, and I'm here for you." And that is what she said. And she was the one who was then able to tell my sisters. My sisters also supported me, and I don't remember anyone pushing me away or judging me and putting me in an awkward corner.
So even your friends, like your peers, and how did they receive you?
So at the time I was in college, I told the one girl that I felt I was close to, and she it was I remember we were writing our prelims, so I missed a lot of school, and when we started writing they were asking where have you been and stuff like that, you know. And then I then told her that this is the situation. I got infected with the virus, this is what's happening. But she never also judged me, you know. She never asked me any questions. She just literally, she was there for me, you know. And my other friends also found out, but I don't know if deep down inside they had issues, but they haven't shown me any issues thus far to say, okay, this is how we feel about you. They've been supportive from day one until today.
Wow, that's amazing. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad we have people who are not ignorant, you know, amongst our society.
Yeah.
That's applaudable. Another question I have for you, you know, as HIV activists, you guys have this notion, you know, of living positively. What does that mean to you?
I personally think for me, living positively with HIV is beyond what you eat and the fact that you're adherent on your medication. For me, it's having a positive outlook to life and being able to reinstill positivity in your life every day. Because, like I said, there's no manual to living with this virus. You need to constantly tell yourself that, you know what, this is where I'm at and this is the life that I'm going to live. Positivity is what you feed yourself. What are you listening to? What are you teaching yourself? Because we tend to also feel because I'm positive, that's all I need to know. And that's where the story ends. We never educate ourselves about different things that are happening within the HI virus field. You know, some of us don't even know how many people are living with HIV. Some of us don't know the latest studies. Some of us don't know anything, you know, which is a bit unfair, because I feel if you're living with a certain virus, you need to have a certain amount of knowledge towards the virus. And being positive, of course, is accepting yourself wholesomely that I am living with this virus, and regardless of the circumstance I find myself, and regardless of what I turned to face, I'm still Lebogang, and it's not like I'm not going to be defined by the fact that I'm living with HIV.
Amen. Wow. That's unbelievable. And I've had a couple of people, you know, when they saw the poster, who contacted me and they shared with me that, you know, they having like a difficult time accepting their statuses. There was one woman, for instance, she's a married woman, and she discovered recently that, you know, her husband gave it to her. What message do you have for them, for women like that?
You cannot accept something you don't know. It's like you can't defeat an enemy that you don't know. When soldiers are off to war, they first study their enemies before they defeat their enemies. So for you to be able to accept and to defeat this virus, you need to know more about it. So this is you sitting down, researching, asking questions, whether be it at the clinic. And look, I know some people will say, no, nurses don't have time, but people need to understand that it is their right to access quality health. And therefore, it is their right to access quality information when they are in need of such. So for me, knowing what it is that is happening, knowing what a viral load is, knowing what a CD4 count is, just knowing all those nitty gritty details will then help you to be like, oh, okay, this is a chronic illness. I can most definitely live with it. I just then need to adhere to my medication.
Sorry. Oh, they're pricking you now.
Okay, I just need to adhere to my medication and make healthier sexual choices. This is adhering to condom usage. This is testing with your sexual partners when getting into a relationship. This is protecting your emotional state of being, protecting your physical state of being, and just making sure that you are in control of self in the time that you find out that you are positive. Again, an acceptance of an HIV status, it's not a click of the hand, like I accept my status today and tomorrow I'm okay. It's an everyday thing. Every day you wake up and you kind of accept. It's like when you are not comfortable with your weight, you have to tell yourself every time that this is who I am. I love myself. I accept myself for who I am. So it's the same with the virus. Treat it like someone who's you're living with and that you constantly talk to. And that is what I do. And accepting your status, knowing that it doesn't define you, nor will it take anything away from you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's very encouraging. Mr. Dayile, can I get back to you? Okay, Mr. Dayile is back. Thank you, Mr. Dayile. I just want to see if people have questions for you guys. Okay, we see you, Andy Swamfundisi, we see you. Pinkino Kilana, we see you. Linda Mzilikazi, we see you. Thank you, guys. Mr. Dayile, last question I have for you is, now that we are heading towards the festive season, you know, where alcohol, you know, there's alcohol abuse due to the many events, you know, people are gonna have and all these gatherings. What would you say? What message would you encourage people with regarding to being faithful, remaining faithful? Because now, even on social media, you get, there's a lot of people that are encouraged to be unfaithful. I'll make an example. There's this saying that says in December, so what message do you have for people as we're heading to the festive season that can perhaps encourage them or caution them, etc., etc.?
Thank you, Pemi, again. There is a lot of studies that show that there's association between HIV and alcohol. One study showed that, for instance, people who take alcohol are 4 times likely to be HIV positive. And those that abuse alcohol are almost 16 times likely to be HIV positive in South Africa. So it's really, really a huge difference. Sometimes people will say, no, one of the drivers of HIV is poverty. And I will always say, but there is a 16% difference between someone who's poor and not drinking and someone who's poor and abusing alcohol. So that's the big difference. One of the biggest challenges of HIV is that of behavior change. There are 3 things, if I can say quickly, which are a problem for South Africans. One is the first one that you talked about, of multiple and concurrent partnerships. It's very, very difficult. We know that men are 4 times likely to have more than one partner than women. So if you're a woman and you drink and your man drinks, you must know, because I'm coming from the township, I'm coming from Ekasi. Most of us, when we go to drink, we're not just going there for leisure. We're going there to fish. We're going there to siokera. So the only person that you can trust is yourself. You need to make sure that you remain safe, you use a condom, and so on. The second one is that of age disparate relationships, where there's a gap of from 10 years of age and so between the 2 partners. You will see that most of the children, most of these young women, which by the way, 60% of new infections are coming from them, are those women that drink, are those women that you'll find in ship-ins, but you will see that almost 60% of rapes are related to alcohol as well. So it's really, really a huge problem for the country. So our message will be that make sure that you are in a safe space when you drink, and you make sure that the intention is that of you having leisure. Know that there are people who want to catch you unsuspecting there. So make sure that you are safe, you are surrounded with those people that know you, and you don't drink far from where you stay. Because as I said, 60% of these rapes is someone coming from a tavern, going home. That's where they get raped. So our message is that be safe, and if you can, drink at home.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Dayile. I just want to appreciate you once again, sir. Thank you and for the work that you do and with the Institute AIDS Council. We really appreciate the contribution. Yeah, siyabulela kakhulu, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Pebiji.
Thank you, sir.
I just wanted to say from today, you're a partner. We want to use these platforms. So thank you very much again.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Lebogang, is there anything you would like to say? Any final words? I think we finished so early. I don't know if people have questions for you guys, but our job is done. We've done our job. So I don't know. Guys, if you feel you need to ask questions, you're welcome to do so. You can ask Mr. Dayile. We don't have much time actually. We've got about, let's say 15 minutes. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask. Both my guests, they will gladly respond. I'm just looking if there's any other questions here. Not yet. Okay, but anyway, you're welcome to ask questions. Lebogang, is there any words, any final words you'd like to say to those that are watching? Anything at all?
I think just to add on to what also was saying, we also need to start encouraging women to initiate condom usage conversations. We need to start encouraging women to buy the condoms and put them in their purses, in their bags, because it's not every man that you find has a condom, and a man will coerce you and make you believe that you don't need to use a condom. But if you get to a point where you are empowered enough to say, no, we are using a condom or we are not doing this, then that is also part of you protecting yourself. Because unfortunately, where you go, where you drink, and what you do cannot um, refrain or rather protect you from getting infected, because people get infected while they are married. People get infected while they are home and are not going out drinking and doing anything. So for me in this festive season, if you know that you are sexually active and you are the type to indulge in wild night stands, or the type just to go out and meet anyone random and indulge in sexual activities, it is not for us to then judge your lifestyle. It's for us to help empower you to make more informed choices about your sexual health and rights, and to know that as a woman, I've got the right to walk into a clinic and take 20 packs of condoms if I have to. They are there for you to use. And when you meet this partner, take the condom out, even put it in his penis to say, we are using this and this is what's happening. And I think more than anything is to say, during festive, we find a lot of people default on their treatment because homonate, it's family in and out. Some are going to visit their families don't know about their status. So for that month, they kind of stop taking treatment and go back in January because now they feel they're at a place where they can't be themselves. But we would like to encourage people to continue taking medication, even if it means you need to hide your treatment in something and at 8 o'clock go to the toilet every evening. It's fine. Nobody has the right to then ask you, where are you going? We need to get to a point where we take our health into our hands and not so much rely into government programs and anything, because at the end of the day, I'm the one living with the virus and I'm the one who must look after myself. Every other structure out there is for support purposes, to support me in my journey, but I should be the one that is taking the steering rather in my life. But all I can say is be safe. Know that there's life after HIV. We love you. We are here to support you. There are a lot of platforms and a lot of people out there who can walk this journey with you. There are AIDS councils where you can go and get information that you need. There is so much out there at the tip of your hand, and especially with social media, it's a simple Google and you get answers. It's a simple following the South African AIDS Council. It's a simple following Mr Vuyisa, following Lebogang to get whatever that you feel that you need to know. Ask questions, regardless of how stupid you feel your question is. 20 years into this pandemic, we still have people who don't know anything. So ask whatever you want to ask and make sure you keep yourself informed. And I think also, let's stop having this conversation because it's the 1st of December. HIV infection happens throughout the whole year. It doesn't only happen in December. December, we commemorate and we remember. It's not a celebration again because there's nothing to celebrate, trust me. We need to have these continuous conversations, and that is when in the public it's going to become a norm. The more we have a conversation, it's a norm. The more we forget about it January to November and start talking about it on the 1st of December, it is not a norm, because people will be like, okay, this thing must only affect us on December. Let us not protect ourselves January to November. So all I want to say is, let's continue making these conversations continuous, and stakeholders, let's come together, work together. HIV activists, advocates, our different health and social development stakeholders, whether it's be your local, your regional, we all need to work together and have the same languaging, because we also have an issue of sending out different messages, but we're all trying to reach the same end goal. We need to sit down and have the same message so that everyone can relate to everyone, because we are all here for one goal, and that is to end HIV infections and to reach our 1990 goals that have been set by USAID, and to reach also our goals, our sustainable development goals, and so forth.
Wow, thank you so much. Let me just see if we have questions quickly. We'll just go through them quickly. Hold on. Okay, Mr. Dayile, I've got a question for you from Linda Mzilikazi. Linda says, Mr. Dayile, as prevention strategy, do you have challenges where ART is taken away by force from clients on art after fetching meds? What is that? ART? Okay, sorry. After fetching meds from the clinic on their way home, ART stolen because of homemade tech by drug users. Okay, that's a first for me. Whoa. Mr. Dayile, did you get that question? Or should I repeat it? Mr. Dayile, you are muted, sir.
Yeah, I got it. There has been in the past this myth that ARVs are mixed with dacha and so on, and people smoke them, and people get robbed on their way from the clinic because people wanted to smoke these. But I think just like everything else, drug users and drugs fluctuate, and they change with times. I think that was very, very much prevalent in the past 5 to 8 years. We don't hear a lot of those kind of stories anymore now, because I suppose maybe there are new drugs and so on. But it was a big challenge. I think it has declined a lot lately.
Okay. I've got another one. Truckers and commercial sex workers program, is it effective?
Well, we have to be very cautious in saying it's effective or not. But what has been important we've got areas that we call high transmission areas, where these truckers and sex workers meet. Most of those areas now have been supported by the Department of Health and other partners to make sure that there's condoms, to make sure that some of the sex workers are able to get treatment. Those that are from the LGBTI community get lubricants and so on. So there's been a lot of feasibility, and we're trying a number of things, including making sure that we remain open in those high transmission areas even during the night, so that people can get easy access of those things like condoms and so on. But again, a whole lot of our problems with regards to sex work and truckers. Sex workers tell us, Mr. Dayile, you always come here to test us and so on, but you know, most of us, almost 90% of us know what is our status. The problem is with our clients. It is our clients who refuse to use condoms. It is our clients who use the power of money to make sure that here in East London, for instance, 2 years ago, we were told that if you indulge in sex with a condom, you get 250 rands. Without a condom, you get 500 rands. So sex workers are forced to make those kind of choices, which are very, very difficult. So we want mainly now to focus on the people who may be users of sex workers, because the problem seemingly at the moment is with them rather than sex workers themselves.
Yeah, okay. Let me just see if we have another question. Mr. Dayile, I do have a question. I don't see any other questions. I do have a question. You know, I've had women that contact me to say, you know, their husbands are very reluctant, or perhaps they just don't want the use of condoms altogether. How do we get men, the husbands, to, you know, to be more open in the use of condoms?
Yeah, it's quite a difficult one because it is also intertwined in culture. You'll hear men saying, no, I cannot use a condom in my own house. But for me, it is less about men, but more about us empowering women, just like Labour was saying, because many men seem to be saying or thinking that they have rights over the bodies of women. I think that's what we need to emphasize. Even if you are married, nobody has a right to force you not to use a condom if you don't want to. As I said, statistics are very clear. There is one study that even concluded that one of the areas where HIV is rife is marriage, because South Africans have got multiple partners. How our economy is structured forces us sometimes to have multiple partners. You will see that, for instance, there is a man who stays in Joburg and a wife who's staying in Tata. He's got 2 houses. So you know your man, you know the stats, make sure that you talk to him to use a condom. However, we've got men's corners, we've got what we call a men's sector. They are trying to really mobilize other men because the question of men is really a problem. For instance, of the people that tested last year, 1.2 million people, only 30% are men. Of the people that are on ARVs, only 30% are men. Of the people that are dying for HIV, more than 50% are men. But of the people who are infected with HIV, 57% is women. So you see that men is really giving us a problem. And in fact, in the past 5 years, the only demographic whose HIV infections did not decline is men between the ages of 35 and 55. So as a country and as a province, we need now to really focus on men, because we cannot win in this epidemic if men do not come to the party.
I hear you, sir. Thank you. Oh, okay. I think we are done. We don't have any more questions. We don't. Let's see. No,
I
we
think,
don't.
Pam, just to maybe add on the issue of men, né? I think we cannot talk HIV and not talk about patriarchy. If we can't deal with patriarchy, we can then never win with getting a man to get tested in clinic or go and take treatment. If we were able to merge these different campaigns that we have, you know, we will have a GBV campaign on its own and forget to add the fundamentals of HIV. We will have an HIV campaign on its own and forget to merge the dynamics of alcohol, GBV, and everything. So we need to speak as one voice, because part of the reason men don't test is because they are the men of the house. And if I am bringing bread to the house, why must I go to the clinic? You know, why must I use a condom if I am the one supporting you? It is also how men have been brought up and how they have been socialized. And we need to start bringing them into the conversation. Women have been empowered, but now we need to talk to these men and find out, what is it that is your problem? Sometimes we want to come up with solutions without including people. You know, we don't know what their issues are. We don't know what they're going through. Also, we sometimes think, okay, this is where they are at. We need to go to where they are at. They like being in Shabin's, let's go to the Shabin on a Saturday, spend an hour or 30 minutes, drink with them, have conversations with them. We need to get to their level, not for them to come to our level, so we are able to be in one understanding and speak their language. And then we will slowly but surely start to win men over, because it's even difficult for a man to go to the doctor because uphethwe flu.
Yeah.
So what
That's
about an HIV test? You know, it's got to do a lot with minusculity. Because I'm a man, I'm not supposed to be seen at the doctor. I would rather die in silence, and that is the notion most men have. You know, so we need to have them part of the conversation. Have those imbizos, have those conversations where they take the lead in the conversations, where we sit down and we listen to them. And that is the only way we can learn to say, okay, this is what's happening. So how do we then partner again with them for solutions? Because we've got a weakness of creating solutions without the people. We are here on top and we create solutions for the community without going to the community and asking if this certain thing is going to fit in. And going back to social, I was about to say social workers, to sex workers, we need to start advocating more for PrEP, you know, for them to access PrEP without it being a challenge. Because at the end of the day, I would rather choose 500 because that's the money that I need than choose 250 with a condom, you know. And that is just reality. We can't sugarcoat the truth here. So we need to advocate for more prevention methods that will be in favor of the woman. So the woman knows, I am on my PrEP, I am wearing my ring if the ring does get approved after the study. I heard about the injection. If the injection gets approved, I'm accessing this, and this is how I'm protecting myself.
Okay, wait. Hold on. I'm gonna stop you a little bit there. I don't know what you're talking about when you're talking about the ring. What is that
So
about?
there is a study currently going on the Depiverin ring. So the ring is an HIV prevention method that is currently being tested to see if women can wear it, women that are negative, to prevent from getting infected. So the ring is inserted in your cervix, and then it takes out ARVs to protect you from getting infected. You could call it a PrEP, but you're just putting it as a ring. You're not drinking the pill itself. You put it there for a month to 3 months, and then you can go get it disposed, go clinicking, and you put another one on. And this is simply because we've got issues with tablets. You know, I will come with a PrEP engine, and Ubaba will be asking, you understand that? So with the ring, it's in my body. You cannot feel it if you're having sexual intercourse with me. Therefore, you cannot ask me any questions. Unfortunately, because of the country we live in, I'm also protected if at night I decide to go out with my friends and unfortunately, I get sexually abused. I know that the ring is there to protect me, even though that is not the kind of world we should be living in. But at least there is a measure to protect me from getting infected, even though we've got your post-exposure prophylaxis, which we know today is still very difficult to access because we still have to go through certain channels, which is things we should also be having conversations about and continue advocating for, you know. So that was my little 2 cents.
Wow. Okay. Thank you, Lebogang. Okay, I've got just a comment now. We've only got like 4 minutes. I've got a comment here from Linda Mzilikazi. That is the biggest challenge where traditional men maintain their control. Okay, I don't understand this. Traditional men maintain they control the sexual health of their female partners. Okay, the woman cannot make sexual health decisions on their own. Yeah, okay, we got you. Okay. Thank you so much to my guests. I think we're done because we were supposed to stop at 7 anyway. Sir, thank you so much, Mr. Dayile. It was such an honor. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. Lebogang, you know, being in hospital and still doing this, I must just applaud you for that. Thank you so much. This was
Pleasure. Anytime.
unbelievable. All I can say is that thank God we are not where we used to be when it comes to HIV. There is definitely progress. And I'm sure we will all get there. If we stick together,
True.
work together, we will get there. There is hope. There's still a lot of hope. Thank you so much, okay, let's see if there's anything else. Okay, no, there's nothing else. We don't have any more questions. Much appreciated to both of you. May God bless you so much for taking your time and talking to us. Yeah, until next time.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for the great conversation.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Okay then. Goodbye. Guys, thank you so much for watching. It's while we say goodbye to Mr. Dayile and Lebogang. I don't have much to say except you know, we are grateful for this time to have these topics, you know, because we need to be educated, we need the awarenesses, you know, and you know, we are nothing without these institutions. So I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for the, you know, Lebogang being an activist, and also, you know, speaking out for those who can't speak out for themselves. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. We will meet again. I've got one last conversation before I close for the end of this year. There was a conversation that we postponed about the nutritional supplements for kids with ASD, and that is going to be on Monday. It will only be just for 30 minutes. Yeah, it will be just a conversation for 30 minutes, where we have these founders of the supplement that are going to be talking more and teaching us more about this nutritional support for the kids with autism spectrum disorder. So yeah, that's what we'll be talking about on Tuesday. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. May God bless you. Yeah, I'm so excited because I've got a lot of programs that I'll be having next year, a lot of conversations I'll be having next year. So I'm very excited and I'm grateful for your support. May you have a good night. See you next time. Thank you very much. Bye.